Here we are on the DragonShip. Are you guys ready to go? Let's get this DragonShip rolling. Today, brotherhood or isolation? Where shall we go?
I've got the power of Thor in my hands. Thunderous hammer that will sting across all the land. I've got the power of Thor in my hands. Lightning strikes as the storm through the valleys of death.
Let's get it. You guys long work sitting up all a long time. This is your episode. Do you need a brotherhood? Or would I find a brotherhood? On the DragonShip. That's it. A brotherhood that looks all up.
You'll see the hate will come inside me.
my friend, the CDC, for our intro music, Dispose All on the Mass Delusion album. Gentlemen, a word from our sponsors, and then we start the show.
Life is a journey filled with twists and turns. Why is it that essential life lessons aren't taught in school? You probably know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell, but do you know how to invest in a Roth IRA? We're not taught to build ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. The roadmap to success is more than just a college degree. You don't have to follow the traditional route. Success isn't confined to a classroom. It's about discovering your own path. You ever wish that someone handed you a guidebook to life when you were 18? Well, it's never too late to rewrite your story. Everything I wish I knew when I was 18. Advice for young men to create a great life for themselves. This book is your compass, guiding you to pick the right career, how to invest wisely, and how to prepare for a fulfilling future. To take control of your health and your fitness. Learn how to date efficiently and find genuine desire. And master the art of leading healthy relationships. Your path is defined by the choices you make, not by others' expectations. Don't wait until you're 35 to unlock your potential. Order your copy now on Amazon. Rewrite your story. Build the life you deserve.
It's a damn good book. And when you're ready for the next level, here you go.
Masculinity is in crisis. What are we to do? We need to acquire a dominant masculine presence. Now available on Amazon. Masculinity is in crisis. Men's masculine behaviors and traits have been suppressed by popular culture. Why has it become so popular to shame, guilt, insult, masculinity, and masculine behaviors? After 50 to 70 years of this has resulted in a very large subset of men who have become weak, useless, and crisis. Pathetic state for boys and men that leads to depression and violent despair. A dominant masculine presence addresses this very dilemma for the individual man, and it firmly establishes why this is what is desperately needed by the individual man today. In this book, clearly defined masculine traits and behaviors and the emotional durability provided by traditional masculinity are presented as a guide to what every man should embed into his identity. Putting these principles and behaviors into practice will motivate and direct your path step to step to create for yourself an authentic, dominant masculine presence.
Welcome to the DragonShip. I'm RP Thor. And today we got an interesting show. The DragonShip. Are you a lone wolf? Are you the Sigma? Are you in monk mode? Well, are you the go it alone type? So this is your episode. Is it better to isolate yourself or is it better to have a brotherhood? I venture to say that there's pros and cons about both. So let's deprogram yourself from the cult of the blue pill and take the red suppository, gentlemen. There's no going back. Once you've seen it, it can't be unseen. Climb aboard and let's have some fun with our panel and discuss this with some tongue-in-cheek irreverence. Only one panel show stands to lift all others up. Which one would that be? It'd be the DragonShip. So arm yourself with the experience of successful men with real-world impact and let me bring the panel on and introduce them. We have today with us my co-captain, Paul from Comeonemanpod Podcasting. We also have the other members of Rule Zero that want to participate in the DragonShip, and that is Glenn Laurence. And of course, the newest member of Rule Zero, the infamous Twitter tweeter, X poster, Tradcon pisser offer. And it is Nuclear Caudillo. Hey,
I taught him well.
Hang on.
Let's
introduce everybody.
You know, he's learned how to piss off Tradcons just as good as I have. I mean,
all right, good. Hang on. Let's introduce everybody and we'll get at it. And then we have from Las Vegas, downtown Las Vegas in Nevada, we have Mike Steele. And then in the heart of Texas, come and take it territory, AJ, the detailing Viking. Welcome to the DragonShip, where a rising tide lifts all ships. And that's what we do here today. Brotherhood or isolationism. Guys, let's go around the horn and have some fun. Let's just kind of give our introductions and then we'll get at this. What do you guys think, man? You guys been doing well? I've been a little bit under the weather, so I'm just getting back. You might hear it in my voice, just getting over some pneumonia, but it takes a lot more than that to keep Thor's hammer down. Paul, how's things going, man? You're on a tear. And towards the end of the show today, we're going to spend some time. Guys, stick around. This is really exciting. Paul and I are going to spend probably the last half hour of the show today discussing what's coming up on Beer Club and the Dragons membership. It's exciting stuff. So stay tuned for that. Paul.
Yeah, man. Yeah, just to give you guys a heads up, tomorrow morning for all Beer Club members, the legendary porn star Eric Everhard is giving a free seminar to all members at 10 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow over Zoom. So if you want to level up your bedroom game, definitely join the club and come check that out. And Eric, he's just a down-to-earth, good, solid dude. He reached out to me a couple of weeks ago and he goes, "Hey man, I love what you're doing. Love to help you out." And I was like, "Thanks, man. Thanks, legendary porn star Eric Everhard." So yeah,
stick to at the end of the show. That's a free Beer Club, isn't it?
What's that?
Is that a free Beer Club episode, or is that for the subscribers only?
It's for subscribers only, but you can sign up with a free trial. You can sign up for a free trial, come to the seminar. If you like the club, you like the guys, the Telegram group is very active. The guys are always in there chatting. So if you like it, stick around. If you don't, cancel anytime. It doesn't matter, but
cool.
Yeah.
We'll get some more details on that.
Also, I want to say too, this Friday immediately after my live stream, I'm jumping in a car and I'm driving to Vegas. Going to go hang out with Mike Steele Friday night. And then Nurse Chick and I were going to go watch some wrestling on Saturday. So.
Oh, that sounds really fun, man. Awesome. Glenn Laurence, the other TradCon pisser offer that it's religious in nature.
Yes. How are you doing today, fellas?
Good. Have you been able to piss off some of those TradCons and the girls in the Femme Christosphere?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I definitely have. I've got a few nice comments from them. I think they're inviting me over for a potluck or something later on.
They're gonna poison you. They're gonna poison you.
Look, there's a lot of things that have tried to take me out, and just a bunch of really upset women that just need some dick is not going to do it. I'm just here to just give them what they need, and that's the truth. But no, I've just been working on a lot of different things lately.
Streaming a lot too. You're streaming almost every day.
Yeah. I wanted to make a habit of at least getting something out there, either a pre-record or a live stream, at least 5 days a week. That's my I guess if I would say my New Year's resolution, that's part of my New Year's resolution, is to be active more. And so yeah, I've been working on being active more and just kind of sticking around and just saying some stuff.
Active more, Glenn. I've known you for a while. You're a bull in a china shop. You're always active.
Yeah. What I mean by that, I need to break more stuff. So, I mean,
okay.
As a bull in a china shop, like how many more people can I offend? I mean, I offend my normal amount. It's a normal standard. So I need to up that now.
No, Glenn, you're a bull in a dynamite factory.
Something blows up. I mean, that's good.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, you guys better sign up for my membership or go buy it from Paul. I don't think we're not gonna be keeping up the fight much longer, right? Or we're gonna keep it. What do we agree upon?
Oh, I took it down last night.
Oh, okay, never mind. Well, the only way you guys go watch that fight is on my channel. So if you guys will go sign up for my channel membership, you can watch the epic New Year's Eve release of the fight.
Yeah, you could join the beer club and still catch it too, but but if you wanted to just not be in a club and be a lone wolf and try to watch it on your own, fuck off. It's gone.
Or you could just not fuck off and you can just come over to my
You're fucking screwed, okay? You missed your opportunity. Fuck off.
You could just go get it on my channel membership and get some other free content too,
There you go. Or you can do that.
Yeah. But you can still fuck off too after you do it, but
Nice. Nuke. How you doing, man? Congratulations, newest member of Rule Zero.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing? So basically, I'm just tweeting a lot, getting lots of engagement because I try to tell guys like, hey, this whole trad stuff, it's not what you think. You're not saving anything. You're not, basically right now I have you guys can catch me Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. I have shows where I mix kind of game, RP stuff. And then on Sundays I do Post Zero with some of the younger members of Rule Zero and other things, and we talk about other topics. And of course, DragonShip and now Rule Zero. So thanks for having me on.
Hey, Nuke,
man, you've been streaming a lot too.
Yeah.
Hey, Nuke, you are our affirmative action, vote on to
Hire.
Rule
Yeah,
Zero,
I'm the
right?
diversity hire right now.
You're the diversity hire. We
Yeah.
covered our bases. We're good. Thank you.
Yeah, you will never get canceled now.
Like
You will
we
never
were
get
getting,
canceled now.
We were getting like the racist threats and stuff every time Rolo would say something that he shouldn't say on live on camera, and I was like, no, we're not really racist, I swear. Now that you're
black
on here,
guy.
I'm like,
See?
we got one on our side now.
We got a person of color.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can say it.
whatever
We
that
can
is.
say the N-word and we can just laugh at it now. Yeah.
You sons of
Yeah.
bitches. The dragon ship is, the Vikings would always take on all comers. So there you go. Right. That's awesome. Awesome. Hey, speaking of Vikings, AJM, the detailing Viking, how are you doing down there in Dallas, man?
I'm doing great. I just
How's your streams?
dropped a late video or a video early yesterday morning before I got up and did all my stuff to go to work. Been streaming. I think right now I have it scheduled for the 14th. I'll be doing a review of Paul's book, contrary to what he said yesterday in his live stream.
I was off by a week.
But after that, I'm going to probably start opening it up to one of my days off as well throughout the week instead of just doing it on every other Sunday. That way I get one stream in a week on top of the DragonShip. And we had a term back in the Navy on the submarines for our diversity hire. We called it the obnob, the only black nuke on board.
You guys had that too.
How many black nukes there were?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that too. We didn't call it Obnob. We call it what do we call it? I don't forget what we call it, but we had one too. Yeah, it was good times.
And we also had Obnob for the only black chief on board.
Oh yeah, we had one of those too. Yeah.
Well, living the dream, man. Living the dream. Thank you, Thor, for having me on.
Absolutely. And Mike Steele, downtown Las Vegas. Buddy, how you doing, man?
I'm fantastic. Thor, God of Thunder. Thank you so much for inviting me today. Everyone, go out and get Paul's book and Thor's book, either hard copy or on Audible, because on Audible, they're both narrated by Thor. And so that's your little treat there. Get the books, guys.
Thank you. Guys, I want
mine.
to... Awesome. Yeah, I got them sitting here too. They're very, very good books. They give you a foundation for some of the things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about brotherhood and isolation. There's something in our sphere that was really popular called monk mode. I get it. There's reasons for this, but I've seen this become popular and I've seen it morph over time from the stuff that Fox Day put out, the alpha, the beta, the gamma, the delta type of personalities for men, which is kind of mirrored off of the wolf studies in wolves for sexual social hierarchies. And then somebody came up with this sigma, which is the lone wolf, and it's kind of become the goal for a lot of men. If you search sigma on YouTube, you'll get thousands of videos on why it's better to be a lone wolf and why that everybody from all women to all men actually admire the lone wolf. And it's kind of a fantasy because we all stand on the shoulders of giants, and I call bullshit on all of it, So, however, there's people that disagree. So let's chop it up. Let's talk about brotherhood. We're going to talk about the benefits of brotherhood today on the DragonShip. And what I mean by brotherhood is also friendship, male friendship. Male to male friendship is critical. Every man on here is my friend. But I want to talk about why that's different than having acquaintances and work partners, and why it's important as you bring men into your circle that you have a smaller circle of friends that are elevated, and maybe even only one or two throughout your life. And they may rotate in that group to who is currently the closest to you. That's a healthy thing. And some guys really struggle with having a larger friend group. But let's talk about how we do that and what's going on. I have a list here of why what the benefits of brotherhood actually are. And when I say brotherhood, that's male friends. That's guys that have each other's back. When the chips are down and I got some dirty, bloody work to do, I call my Viking son, Glenn. Glenn, get your damn shovels, a couple plastic bags, get your ass over here. And my master at arms shows up. Oh, you're muted. You're muted. You're still muted. The button pusher. I can't unmute you.
Can you really trust him with shovels and plastic bags if you can't unmute him?
I know it. He can't unmute himself, so we're not really sure what's going on there, Glenn. All right. No worries, man.
All I was saying, I was just saying, like, all I say is, like, tell me when, and do I need to bring an extra bag?
Exactly, my brother.
It's like you remember the movie The Town, right?
Yeah.
And it's with the Ben Affleck and the guy from plays Hawkeye, right?
Yeah.
He's like, look, I need your help. We're gonna go do this thing. Don't ask any questions. All right. And he's like, we're gonna go hurt somebody. And he's like, okay, whose call we taking?
Yeah.
It's like the best line in that movie. I'm like, yes, that's brotherhood.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Are you saying, Thor, that you wouldn't call up your girl best friend, my best girlfriend, to go do some ditch digging like that?
No. And this is a big deal, especially when we talked about some of the blue pill sigmas out there. Oh, my girl's my best friend. She's ride or die. She'd help me bury the bodies. I would protect my girl from that. Of course, I want her to be willing, but yeah, from
the only body your
bodies,
girl's gonna bury is yours.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything more cringe to me than a guy uttering the phrase "my girl best friend."
Mm-hmm.
I just
or claiming that
like they're having a tea party.
Bruh.
It bothers me that some guys that are actually married say, "Oh, my wife is my best friend."
Oh God, that's the worst.
It's a slow disaster, slow train wreck starting to happen. There's reasons we're built the way. There's biological reasons the way we're built the way we are built. And we need each other. We talk about social game. This could actually be labeled social game part 2. The last one we talked about was pre-selection and why that's important when you're around other women that admire you. Your main woman's going to be quite attracted to you because she's proud of you that you're still, the alpha she thought you were, or that dominant masculine presence. She's proud to have the top dog, so to speak. If you got good male friends and your male friends are with you and they're in a social environment, they're not going to be that male friend when women enter the room. And when women enter the room, there is 2 types of friends. The one that's going to say, yeah, that guy RP Thor over there, he wrote a book and it's badass. That guy's badass motherfucker. Or there's going to be the friends are, oh, there's girls in the room. Hey, girls, did you know gay Thor wrote this book called Dominant Masculine Presence, trying to position themselves so that they can be somewhat seen as superior to you. You guys have all experienced this. You've had acquaintances that talk mad shit when a girl shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
You guys have seen that. Are those guys your real friends?
No, they just end up getting their girlfriend taken. So it's their fault.
Well, it's interesting how many guys actually use that approach. Pay attention to it. It's not something everybody pays attention to.
It's literally like what it is they're telegraphing that you are a threat. I don't see anybody as threats to me. Like I know guys are in different positions than I am, but none of you are my threats. Like none of you, I'm not threatened by any of you. You all have a different position you play. And some of those positions I can't play those positions well. I lean on you as my part of my team to play those positions. So yeah, Thor wrote a book. So did Paul. I tell people they both should go look at it. Both go cop it. Glenn, no, I haven't wrote a book. I just talk a lot of shit on the internet. So that's my lane. But you see, like I don't have to attack them to build me up.
I like what you said though about talking shit, because I want to do another social game episode about shit talking.
Shit talking is a whole thing, a social game.
But what guys will do is they'll talk shit amongst each other, and that's important. But when a woman shows up, they will change that and use the plausible deniability that I was only talking shit by calling you gay and a penis puffer in front of all these girls.
But they haven't earned that right. You got to earn that privilege.
Yeah.
Right. And that's actually a strategy. Isn't that's sneaky fucker?
Well,
Yeah.
no, it is sneaky fucker because what they're doing is like they're trying to diminish your position already. Like they see you as a threat. You're not their friend. Okay. Like, I'm sorry. If you're gonna talk shit about your friend in front of any female, even if it's your own girl, whatever, like, then you're not really a friend.
Right.
You're not a friend. You are.
Yeah,
you
it should
are,
be a switch. Like you should.
Yeah. You know, you're right.
Your friend is supposed to like give you a hard time. Like when you're just with the boys. But when there's a girl involved, like let's say you're at a bar or anywhere where there's hot chicks, he's supposed to make you look like a king. Like you, like hey, like
Yes,
hey
sir.
man, hey later, can I borrow the keys to the Lamborghini? And can I also remember yesterday when you were at the dog shelter volunteering and all that stuff? Like he's supposed to make you look like you're
you
the
talked him
man,
up.
and then yeah.
Yeah, if you are a real high value man, right? Like everyone in the space talks about, you don't have any reason to cut down another man. You have no reason. You have your own value, right? The only reason why you would cut down someone else is to artificially inflate your value because you have none.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that because as we get into this is the important part about screening for friends is we talk up our friends' strengths. We minimize their weaknesses in public, but that doesn't prevent us from calling out bullshit in private.
Mm-hmm.
You know, doing that will strengthen those bonds a lot. And those are healthy friendships and they can last a lifetime. You know, always remember, friendships don't have to last a lifetime. In fact, people will move in and out of your circle. I mean, it's often said that you are the summation of your 5 closest friends. I would say there is some truth to that, but you're in charge of that and they're in charge of it too. So your friends, if you're screening friends, the guys that will sing your praises in public and when you're not present, those are your friends. The ones that'll call your shit out in private, those are your friends. You know, the ones that'll call your stinky laundry out in front of everybody in public, they're not your friends. And while they will use the feminine tactics of plausible deniability, oh, I was just joking. Have you guys heard that? I was just joking. You know,
there's a little truth in every joke. There's a little truth in every joke.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, if you got that group of dudes, man, the chicks enter the room, you know, the dynamics change. Watch it. I want you to watch that. That's an amazing dynamic to watch. Most guys completely miss it.
Well,
And
it's like, and what but not only they miss it, Thor, they actually start like they don't understand it. It's like they don't understand where it's coming from because they were like, wait a minute, we were just cool just a second ago. Why are you putting me on blast? All of us like they have no recollection what's going on. They don't see why it's happening, and you need to realize what's happening there is that they have made you the court jester. You are now going to be the pun of all the jokes for the rest of the night until or unless you reassert yourself or you remove yourself.
Right. No, you're absolutely right, Glenn. And those are important screening functions that you can find out as you meet men, you test them socially. Big part of social game and being able to network relies on male friends, for male to have male friends. That social network works differently than it does for female to female friends and acquaintances of mixed sex. So it definitely works differently. Now, as we get into the topic today, we'll use some examples throughout here, but I want to just kind of go over why it's better. Well, let's do this. Why it's better to have brotherhood and friends like that than it is to isolate. A lot of guys that get burned in our space when they take the Red Suppository have the need to isolate. I totally understand it. And I think a moment of isolation to reset is a good thing. But it's so easy to stay isolated after a while that it's detrimental to your social game and your ability to network and be a full, healthy, high value man. You can't stay isolated forever. And I do see guys starting to do that, particularly with all the consultation. I say a lot of guys want to withdraw because of the pain of being rejected publicly or having some social awkwardness. But brotherhood, let's talk about it. I mean, men need close bonds. Anybody that's been in the military understand this. They understand the camaraderie, you know, the willingness to sacrifice for each other. It's a strong thing that comes from our hunter-gatherer background, and even further back in our past. You go back to first order thinking, and the men would stick together for their mutual benefit, for sure. So mutual support is number one on my list of 10. You know, where that support system, people can rely on each other during challenging times, right? Offer camaraderie and encouragement, and even encouragement, because everybody gets down, everybody. And when they will hold your trust and help you pick back up without announcing that stuff publicly, that's a dear friend. That's one you need to do the same for. Shared goals and values, you know, brotherhoods. And we used to have a lot more brotherhoods with the male, kind of the male clubs, the all male clubs we used to have. This was a more common thing. And shared goals and values were actually drilled into us from an early age. If any of you out there listening, we used to have something called the Boy Scouts of America, where shared values were passed along, and self-preparedness and self-reliance. Even though the self-reliance was put on the individual, a big part of that was a social network of friends that could get together. A lot of those merit badges involved other people, not just one person doing the work, but going out and performing and getting those bonds together. So yeah, as a cohesive collective group with purpose, you and your friends can do amazing things. Emotional well-being, having close bond with men helps you regulate your emotions. Understand that one of the most important things I'm going to talk about next week on next week's episode, because we're going to be in 2024, which is the year of fear. Fear is a big, big deal. So having friends helps you face emotions and regulate, because we all are reactionary. We don't have a firewall from our ears and eyes from what hits us every day. But the firewall we do have is when we have friends that aren't directly connected to that information coming in. We can bounce things off of them. The females of the audience will really notice that, because they rely on that system probably more than us men do as far as emotional well-being is concerned. So establishing close bonds that can last for a long time, they can last forever, they could be a short time, but it's important for our well-being. Networking opportunities. Guys, brotherhoods help each other. They do. Opportunities come each other. This one applies right back to the law of attraction principles that Paul talks about. When you have a network and you're sharing these information, these skills that you have. I got a phone call the other day. It says, hey, can you talk to this young guy? Boom. Now I have a new client, a new Dragons member, and a new friend. So these networks provide a lot of opportunity for people. And I've used my networks to even get skilled labor done and trade, you know, some of my information for their information. And that's really, really valuable. Personal growth. Heck, you guys all encourage me to try different things. You know, if I stop trying different things and I stop exercising my mind, I imagine I'd be dead pretty quickly, because I have that list every day of doing things, and I need to refresh it constantly or I'll get stuck in a rut. And I don't want to be stuck in a rut. I do want to be challenged. Too many of us have that need to be right, and it better be this all the freaking time. And so we get in these habits. So having friends that can also challenge you, create personal growth. Heck, Glenn, you remember when we were in the gym? I mean, that's the challenges. Hey, this and that, and talk some shit and get each other inspired. Yep. Love that shit. Yep. So that's a good one. Friendship, companionship, guys. A lot of your close friends will last through many of your male-female relationships.
Yep.
Most will, actually. And they'll stand by you, you know. And,
really
and
bad friends. You guys know Rudy from Root Advice? He talks about this a lot, because when he was going through his divorce, all of these guys that he used to think were friends were immediately hitting up his soon-to-be ex-wife, and then you see in the comments like so many where this happens, where all of a sudden, you know, out of the woodwork come these guys that you thought were your friend now trying to get with your girl, you know, or you're now breaking up with her and stuff like
makes
that.
you wonder.
Dude, like, I can tell you right now, a friend of mine, or somebody that claimed to be a friend of mine, was fucking my ex-wife.
Wow. Whoa.
And yeah, I found out about that, and I was just like, he was lucky. I was already done. But it all came out, like I said, I found out about all of them when I found out about the last, about the last one. So it's like,
Well, your response is just bang all her friends and her sister. You're good to go.
There you go.
And her
There you
mom.
go.
no, I got
The
I
only
got,
way to deal with
it
that.
was like that was the only hot sister. So like I don't fuck down, I fuck up,
Yeah.
but
The
like,
The impact is the same, my friend. Just bring some rope and some harpoons. The impact is the same.
Yeah, I was actually like fortunate
standards.
during my last relationship when the whole cheating happened. Like I kept it down low, and then like one of my close friends was there the day that I found out, and he was there the whole entire time. But one of my other friends, when she was on vacation to Seattle, he kind of like, hey man, something's up, and like I was hiding it all, and like then I finally let it out to him, and he's like, oh man, so sorry about that, and like had my back throughout the whole entire thing, and then now yesterday was 2 years that she actually left. They all freaking like all my friends group turned on her like that and had my back once she left, and they found out everything that happened. So that's you have that way where you have the Glenn situation where you had friends banging his wife, and then you have my situation where you have friends like coming to your back and like, hey, do you need anything? You want steak dinner? That kind of shit.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
And you don't need to do much to support your friends. Like sometimes just going out, just hey, you want to come over and just talk, or just like I don't know, whatever.
for
Like
sure.
you guys want to smoke a cigar. Like you don't need to do much just to show. Like men, we don't need. We just sometimes just doing something together. You don't even have to talk about the problem. Sometimes I'll be going through something and I'll call my friend up and we'll be like, hey, you want to jam out? Bring your drum set. Like you want to jam out, and then like 30 minutes of that, and I'm like, I feel much better just to know you have someone have your back. You don't even have to unload on them. Just knowing that you have someone there is sometimes just enough for me.
Yeah, like it's and they don't even have to be like physically there with you. You know what I'm saying? Like when I've been going through things, I've been grateful to have people to just. I mean, this whole community has really allowed me to have more people, like people to look after me, or look up on me, see how I'm doing, and I've had people hit me up, and I have people just still now even hit me up like, hey, are you doing this? Are you on top of this? Like, are you getting to the gym? Like how are you doing? Like, where are you at right now? Like what's the pulse like for you? And it's like,
Yep.
you
Friends
need
check
those,
up on you too, and that's a good
so
thing.
it's like you don't necessarily need to have your people. It's great to have them near you or around you in person, but you have this whole community here that could just reach out to you, and they do when they
That's honestly
it's collaboration and teamwork as well. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a pretty amazing thing. I can remember a guy calling me and saying, man, I'm sick, I need to get to the hospital. I drop everything and go help him.
And then you got COVID.
That's all right.
I
That's your friend, right?
Yeah.
sometime after my my breakup with Red Pill Chick and I started learning this stuff, I found myself in a virtual community online. It used to be called the 3% Man Group on Facebook, and we were all studying the same stuff, right? We were all studying like Corey Wayne's book and other books in the space, and going out and dating and practicing this stuff and giving updates and stuff like that. Out of that group, I have a close-knit group of friends all over the world. And I've actually gone out and traveled around and met with them. Just Thursday night, I went and hung out with my 3% brother, Matt, in Montrose. He lives like an hour from me. We get together every once in a while just to get together and talk shit, So it's like a lot of guys, I think they like the idea of this, right? They're like, okay, cool. Yeah, I do need to have friends. But almost everybody has what's called, I heard Dave Parada refer to them as forced friends, right? Guys that you work with. They're not really your friends. You talk to them at work, you're friendly with them, but you don't go hang out with them after work for the most part, right? Guys that you went to school with, you knew them in class, you talked to them, stuff like that, but you don't hang out with them on a daily basis. So it's like, well, how do I make friends? Well, there's different ways of doing it. You can join a local rec league, right? And go play sports or something. Go to a gym, right? Join a motorcycle club or something, right? Or just ride a motorcycle in general, whatever. But you can also join an online community and make real friendships and actually meet those guys in person too. That's another way of doing it.
Oh, that's really interesting. I like what you said about that because it's very true. And there's another aspect that I've experienced. You know, the collaboration and teamwork that those brotherhoods and those friendships induce is interesting. I work with different guys and I help mentor guys in my career. And while I wouldn't consider them my best friends, there is something about the level of risk and where we put ourselves in such a risky career that brings about a brotherhood. You've seen this with cops and firemen too. And of course, with military guys, when the chips are down, it's kind of the brotherhood sticks together for the most part, even though they may not be your friends. And that's really an interesting aspect of being able to associate with a group of guys that have something in common that's greater than themselves. You know, maybe it is the motorcycle club. I don't know what it is, you know, but maybe it's the, you know, it could be whatever. But I think that's really important in a man's life. And of course, as friends, we celebrate each other's success. I mean, the members of a brotherhood and friendship celebrate each other's success, creating positive and uplifting environment that reinforces each other. I want nothing more than Paul to break 1 million fucking subscribers. Same with Glenn. Glenn's a talent and a creative. And when he gets his comedy on point, he's to the freaking moon. And I want to celebrate that success with him, along with Mike Steele. I want to see him come up. I want to see AJ's YouTube take off. I want to see Nuke dominate the X and Twitter space and drive more traffic onto his streams. I would love to celebrate that with them. You know, I think that's pretty fantastic. And these guys celebrate my successes with me. So I think that's really important. It's not that much of a competition when it comes to that, although we will individually compete as friends. But at the end of the day, you know, we see each other as a brotherhood. One of us wins, we all win. And that's one of the things I think guys in our space have overlooked because of the YouTube algorithm. You know, the YouTube algorithm and social media promotes beef. It absolutely does.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, it's the reason, you know, that the YouTube deletes subscribers from people. Do you know that they actually ban randomly certain videos, and knowing that the creator will come on and complain about it, then they reinstate it? There's an uptick at this at the end of the year. They're doing this to create eyeballs on target, and the beef gets the most. The beef always gets the most. The blood gets the most. So they encourage our space to go at each other, call each other names, pick bad guys, and they feed those to the top. I mean, have you guys ever seen videos that you've done that were really popular, get up to around 300, 400 views, and then it fucking flatlines? I can go throughout my catalog and see flatlines at different levels. They're doing that on purpose because they want the stuff to get ahead.
The algorithm's interesting. I have a video on YouTube Shorts that has over 2 million views, and what I'll find with that is it'll have a big spike in traffic for maybe a month, and then it'll go flatline for about 6 months, and then it'll spike again later. It's like, I don't know what the algorithm's doing with that, but
you know, that's really interesting. I'm going to put something in the chat, and this is not to sidetrack what we're at, but I appreciate what this guy did. There's a guy on YouTube. Let me put it on all the chats because this will explain what we're up against in our sphere and why a lot of times we're at each other's throats. And I think this is probably the best explanation I've ever heard. And I'm going to put this in the chat. Go watch this video. Now, this guy's kind of benign. He's in India, but he's got several million viewers. And this guy's name is Praveen Mohan. He talks about ancient temples. He has some enemies in academia because it doesn't follow normal academic, you know, English trends. But this guy's been on YouTube for a very long time. And I would say he understands the algorithm, and he gets threatened to be deleted so that he does controversial topics. And he has a lot of insight. I would recommend you go and check that video out. And if you like him, of course, subscribe. He's got millions of viewers, but he's not afraid to come out and call out the problems with YouTube. He believes in his content so much that he doesn't want YouTube to delete it. And, you know, he really interesting cat, has probably the best explanation on the YouTube stuff that I've ever seen. So getting back to our subject, a lot of benefits in brotherhood and being able to help each other out. Now, isolation Sigma, it's promoted. But what are some of the risks, guys? Increased stress and anxiety, being by yourself, not having the ability to bounce something off of. You know, if I have a YouTube question and stuff, I'm going to Paul. Paul, have you done this? Have you done that? If I have AI issues, I'll talk to Paul as well, because he's getting really good at that stuff. You know, in fact, I've asked him, hey, what about Chat GPT for this, that? Oh, do this, do that. You know, it's really cool to have friends that you can count on for that. And you can see the result on every one of our channels. You know, our production qualities have all come up because of this brotherhood. And that goes beyond just this YouTube stuff. This actually goes into our real life, you know, working out, taking care of our health. Guys that isolate a lot end up with depression. You know, it's a good to have a social network because it gives you things to do and you can feel a part of something. Even if that network is online, that's okay. But you do need to take it out of online stuff. But man, you can get depressed if you're by yourself all the time. You see this with young guys that live in their basement. We talked about that. They're only into their video games and they get outside of that environment and they are locked. And we don't want guys to get locked like that. Also, if you guys aren't engaging socially, you will start to get cognitive decline. When I say cognitive decline, I meant in being able to interact with people. You need to be able to interact, have conversations in order to enhance your abilities. You are always learning, always being able to communicate at a different level with different people helps your mental health and your cognitive ability. So
I just want to say something, Thor. You're absolutely right. Case in point, when you're talking about, you know, your brotherhood helping you level up, this show is a prime example for me. If we look down here, I've got a new microphone, a new mixing board, pop filter stand, and everything. I bought all of that because you invited me to the Dragon Ship, because I didn't want to sound like garbage when I talk on the Dragon Ship. And so I've started vocal exercises. I've started stretching my vocal cords to try to deepen my voice and breathe better. And I'm looking at doing some voice work. I'm starting to dig into that. I'm digging into narration and character voicing, all because you invited me to the Dragon Ship.
well, thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. And I'm going to be looking to you later in the show to talk about the Dragons membership, because we're going to have to learn from you how to do some of those things as you become very proficient.
I also want to just take
Yeah.
a minute to thank you, Mike, for wearing pants. Because when you pan down, just on behalf
That's
of the audience,
effort. That's
thank
showing
you.
effort, you know.
Thank you for wearing pants today. I can't say that I'm always wearing pants on these shows, but but I'm also never panning down to my crotch. That's an OnlyFans type thing. You'll have to subscribe for that. But
Called Beer Club.
got to go to Beer
All
Club.
roads
Get
is
the
the same for me.
pan
Well, that's what
down.
they do at Beer Club. Oh, okay. That's what I was wondering.
So,
What
so
goes
there
on
is
at
a
Beer
reason to isolate, guys. There are reasons, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But if you isolate and stay isolated, there is some science behind it. There's an increased risk of cardiovascular disease from social isolation.
One thing
That's real.
one thing I wanted to add to the isolation thing that a lot of guys don't think about is being isolated in your own marriage. I was one of those guys, I was a guy who I didn't have any friends. I went to work. I came home. I hung out with the wife and kids. I dumped all my problems on her, all that kind of stuff. She was my best friend. I felt like I if I went out and had bowling night with the boys or something like that, that somehow she would be mad at me, and I was scared of her emotions and stuff like that. There's so many guys that live like that. They have no lives at all. They just go to work, come home, talk to their girl, dump all their shit on her, go to bed at night. Like, that's
Let me
their
check
day.
with the boss if I can bowl.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
it's like they don't realize it, but they're
The whole
isolated in their own relationship, and it's not healthy, and it kills attraction. Because women, we all know from Rich Cooper that women don't care about your struggles, right? That women wait at the finish line and bang the winners.
Yep.
It's the same thing in your marriage. Your girl, she might think she wants to care. She might even want to care, but just biologically, she can't. She's not wired for that.
Yeah.
So you need a good group of dudes that you can go to for real emotional support, and I hate to say it that way because it's like, what? We're all rational guys, we don't have emotions. We're robots, which is bullshit. Like, men have emotions too. We have things that we need to get off our chest. It's just your girl's not the right outlet for that, but a good group of boys is.
Oh man, I'm glad you said that, because that leads to my last 3 on the negative impacts of isolating, which was, and of course, ultimately it can affect your health, but altered emotional regulation. If you isolate, the absence of social connections and the impact on emotional regulations is pretty solid. I mean, I talk a lot about emotional regulation in my book, but it's really important, and there's science behind this. Guys that have emotional regulation, I call it emotional durability in some cases, but emotional regulation, they actually live longer. They've studied this. Highly emotional guys do not. Now, it depends on how they deal with the emotions. Can they focus them in a certain way? I like to call it face emotions and regulate. Those guys can take anger, or they can take the fear and channel it into motivational things. But when you're by yourself, it's much harder to do. You don't have your buddies telling you, hey, knock that shit off, pull your head out of your ass, So that can help. I mean, that can also, there's the biggest one is when you're by yourself too long, it's easy to have that extra beer, guys. It's easy to just sit there and get numb because, if you're not getting the emotions, you're not being able to exercise socially, all that stuff, you tend to start letting things go. I've seen it before. I've experienced some of this before in a marriage. So, definitely that can reduce your overall quality of life. So there's a lot of downs to isolating. And when I say isolating, that's basically going into the black pill arena of nihilism. Now,
another thing, Thor, like
shit goes south, is to extract yourself socially for a time of reinvention. That is a whole different thing. And I talk about that in the book too. There is a time to withdraw, but you're with the purpose of you're re-entering soon.
Monk mode starts up here.
Yep. And it doesn't have to exhibit itself externally.
Yep.
I gotta say too, like when you're isolating, the brain is is extremely powerful in that it's great at creating scenarios that aren't real. Like you'll break up with a girl or you'll have something bad happen to your life and you start creating scenarios as to why it happened or what will happen. Your friends are the only ones that are going to pull you out of that. Like your brain making up stuff in your mind. Like, hey, your ex was a slut. That's who she is. It's not your fault. Like stop being stupid. And then because if you don't have that feedback, that kind of like that slap of reality, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good, but you'll spend days, weeks, months making up scenarios, and the only people that can take you out of that is your friends. So yeah, it's very important to have people to present your problems to your friends, and they're the only ones that can really look at it and be like, from an objective standpoint, hey dude, you're messing up. Like, hey dude, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, or you should do this, you should do that, or hey dude, you're getting fat, or hey dude, you're acting like this. It's the only people that'll do that for you. You may not always like the answer, but if not, you're going to be left to your own devices, and then you're going to start making up stories and things, and no one's going to like stop you from your own creativity on how you see the world,
Mm-hmm.
Good point. Really good point. Yep.
And a lot of guys misinterpret monk mode. The purpose of monk mode is to have a very, very specific targeted goal. And then you enter monk mode, you accomplish that goal as quickly as possible, and then you come back out. If you're entering monk mode and your friend asks you, hey, dude, why are you going monk right now? And if you just go, I don't know, it just kind of feels like some,
I heard it online. It sounded cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I think most guys look at monk mode as a complete cope. And most of that cope is to not talk to women.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's what it is. All these guys are like, I'm just focused on me. I'm focusing on my money. I'm focusing on really, how are you doing that? How are you focusing on? Are you just by going to work every day like you were doing anyway? So you're just not talking to women is what you're doing. It's a complete fucking cope, But if it's like, you know what, I'm actually trying to work on getting these 5 certifications so that I can get a promotion at work.
That's different.
Yeah, that's real fucking monk mode. Like, okay, I'm not dating. I'm going to spend every night studying for these certifications.
Hell yeah.
until I get this done. That's dedication. You're actually getting hyper focused on a goal, and you're just, putting everything to the side
Eyes
for
on the
now until you achieve that goal, and then you can move on with your life. But most of those guys are
well, it's the difference between self-improving just to self-improve and self-improving for a goal, right? Like every time you like have a goal, you have to like, what am I doing this for? What is just to do it, or just because this will improve my life or make it better? And if you're just like, oh, I'm not gonna go socialize. Okay, why? Are you like, are you working on a big project where it requires a lot of your focus? Are you taking care of a family member? Are you doing something? What are you doing? Nothing. I'm just not gonna socialize. I'm like, that's like the no-fap stuff. Like, oh, I'm not gonna look at pornography. And I'm like, okay, that's good. What are you gonna replace that with? Video games. Or
Right.
I'm gonna just do nothing. I was like, okay, well, dude, you're gonna have a lot. Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of time after. Like, if you had a bad porn habit and it took like 2 hours of your day every day, you're gonna have a big window of nothing else to do. So find something to fill that with. Learn an instrument. Hang out with your friends more. Do something that will replace that. Because if you're just using willpower to just not touch your junk, like, it's gonna be torture because you're just doing it just to do it. There's a reason for it. Now you have more time.
Right.
Or you're gonna have a really large forearm.
Now, there are reasons to, I won't call it isolate, but to withdraw socially for a reset and a reinvention. There are very, very valid reasons for that. Death in the family, a realization that you need to reflect on career choices, things like that. Those are pretty temporary, though. When I say isolate, that is actively isolating yourself in kind of the way that some of the black pillars do. It creates a lot of negativity. In order to keep those walls up, it creates a lot of negativity to keep those social things out.
But what is the way that they do it though? Like, I'm confused because I'm probably like king isolated. Like, I isolate myself a lot.
I don't think so.
I do. I'm not even lying. Like, I know I do. I have my reasons why I isolate. I
would say you withdraw, but that doesn't stop us friends from reaching out to you.
No, yeah, but like, yeah, there's. I mean, I'm just not as active. I'm not as engaged. Typically when I withdraw, like I'm like not the guy that's making noise. I'm the guy in the back of the room just staring at everybody.
Well, different men are different. Some men are different. They require less socializing, or just some men like for me, there's like, for me personally, if I socialize too much, a lot of the projects in my life start falling apart. So I'm like, hey, I gotta focus on this. And then once I'm done, 2-week, 3-week stretch, hey man, let's go do stuff. I'm just like, every guy is different though.
The difference, Glenn, is
I'm not calling that down. It's like Glenn, one of my dearest friends, has a huge gas tank and his throttle's stuck open. So occasionally he's got to stop and put fuel in the gas tank. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes.
The difference, Glenn, is that the black pillars do it because they don't see the point in anything. So they're just like, what's the point? I'll just sit here. Whereas you are doing it for a reason.
Yeah, like for me, like I'm on the fence on this topic, right? Because I do see the value of friends. Like, don't get me wrong. I see the value of friends. I also know that none of my enemies have ever hurt me. It was always been someone close enough to me to get that were able to hurt me. So when it comes to like dealing with problems, I am very, very selective on who I will open up to, period. Like just from my own past history, the things that I've been through, I have learned that, not all my friends are good for me in certain in times. And some friends are people that you may think are friends. You got to watch their character. They may be great to you. They may have not done anything foul to you, but you may have noticed how they did something to someone else. And you got to remember that, and remember, like, hey, if what they do with information like this, remember what happened. So you just got to be cognitive, and you got to be able to really vet who you are talking to, when you're talking about your personal life or anything.
I do agree with that completely. The difference is recognize that who selected those friends that hurt you.
Oh, you always did. You're the only one that selected those friends. You made. I'm
Yeah.
just saying you have to be aware of it and just know behavior. Be like, because some guys, like I can tell you right now, there's some guys I could talk to about everything I'm going through, right? Everything in my life, I could talk to them, and I know that it would stay between them and me, and I know that, like, without a shadow of doubt, I don't have to worry about them, right? There are other guys that I can't even tell them I'm having a bad hair day without it getting around. I can't even tell them that, like, I don't like watching scary movies without them telling everybody I'm a scared little bitch and I don't, like scary movies. I can't. Sometimes you give people ammunition because you think they're your friend.
Yep.
And then they end
act
up,
like women,
using it
and
as
they
a
use
joke,
it against
either
you.
at your expense or they use it. They bring it up somehow. So for me, I just learned to be very, very selective on who I talk to about. And so I am more isolated than not because I'm actually more extroverted. I will talk to everybody. I will talk to everybody about their problems. I will listen to them, but I won't tell you mine.
I wouldn't call you isolated. I'd call you cautious when you make friends. Your network is large and your friendships are varied. And I think it's useful to you, but I don't see you as a person that's isolated from himself from the world and socially. You're good in that arena. So there's a fundamental misinterpretation of what I'm saying isolation is.
Okay,
Like
that's
a-
what. Then
yeah.
I guess it's the definition of isolation. Then,
Well, I feel.
What's saying? Sorry, gonna go ahead, Nuke.
go ahead, Nuke.
Well, I'm just saying, like the big reason a lot of guys isolate too is they feel like they're not accepted by society. Like, I think biologically, it's like, hey, the tribe doesn't want me. I'm not a high status guy here. There's no use for me here, so I'm gonna go leave the tribe and just fight the wilds, and maybe I'll start my own tribe or do my own thing and all that stuff. And that's what we're seeing on a large scale, because you have guys that could have been great doctors, engineers, plumbers, whatever, guys that maintain infrastructure and are actually important to society are like, you know what, I don't want to, like, they don't care about me. Like, this all sucks. No matter how hard I work, I'll never get the things I want. Let me go play video games or do other things for long periods of time. And a lot of the work that these trads are trying to do is trying to pull these guys back. And I'm just like, you have to make it worth it for them, because they're going to keep self-isolating, because simply it's a biological drive for men to leave situations, environments, tribes that don't appreciate them. You see this in sports. Like, whenever a player doesn't feel like, hey, I'm not doing anything on this team, so I'm going to go to another team, and they're going to give me more time to play. Same thing with us, like,
oh yeah,
we could be business
That's a big
partners
one,
with someone.
Nuke.
Like,
That's a big one. If you don't feel
Yeah,
useful,
and-
that's death to a man.
I was gonna say that.
that's why.
Like, I was gonna just add to that. Like, no, it's like you would think in this space, it would be easy to, like, for people to just connect, right? And we wouldn't have that worry. But I have had guys come to me like, Glenn, please don't say anything. Like, they were like almost like in tears, just wanting me. Just they wanted to get their stuff off their chest. But they've seen all the bitching and fighting that comes along this space. So and so hates so and so. So and so still dildos up their ass. It's like, it's like everybody just starts
Yeah.
dry snitching and exposing everybody's shit for clout, or for for a little bit of street cred or whatever. And it's like we in honesty, we have not done any better than a bunch of bitches that, like, at a hen house, they're just clucking away. And we have behaved that way, not us personally, but I'm just saying overall our space. I mean, it's like as Rich Cooper says, it's a manno swamp. Why is it a manno swamp? Because we got guys in here gossiping like women and talking about each other like women. And
It was inevitable. I mean, it was really inevitable.
is.
Having been around as long as I've been around, even when it started, the problem is there was a lot of basically blue pilled guys and cucks that had different beliefs. And while they saw value, they saw more value, like the guy I originally talked about, that's your friend, that talks shit about you in front of the girls to position himself above. This is a habit that's really embedded in some guys. It's a sneaky fucker approach to the red pill. I'm a sneaky fucker because I'm going to down talk your content. Even though the content's good, I'll find a personal reason to say,
or even the same. It could be the same content.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And it could be the same content. Right.
No,
Going
I
off of
just,
what
I just,
Glenn and
I
Nuke
just
were
want.
saying earlier. You want to go ahead, Glenn?
No,
or
no,
do you want me
no,
to go?
no. Go ahead, go ahead.
So like playing off of what Nuke and Glenn were saying earlier, I actually left the friends group because I felt I was no longer needed in there because of my former roommate. One of my former roommates, he was literally playing the blue pill sneaky cuttlefish beta bullshit game. So I'm like, all right, I'm exiting, I'm ejecting. Time to go find a new friends group. And that's actually right around the time that I started getting into content creation after talking with you, Glenn, and talking with Thor and joining the DragonShip. Like this kind of replaced that little friends circle that I had because I wasn't needed there anymore. I was too far elevated. And the whole crabs in a barrel analogy was starting to come in. They're like, oh shit, pull him back in. And we can't let him get off the ranch.
Yeah. Well, I noticed in the military, like
super
there was
chat.
always these guys. Oh, where?
Look at Christianity Unplugged. He says it perfectly. $5. He deserves an Odin. Look at this. Monk mode. Trying to improve self and hang out with friends, not trying to draw in women. Ironically, I've gotten more attention because I'm not looking. There is a ton of truth to that. And I get that. And if I'm confusing people with what I was talking about isolation, I'm talking about that Sigma philosophy out there. That's essentially an isolation philosophy, and you convince yourself that you're something you're not. And that isolation is a better way to go. I think it's nihilism. I guess I'm saying isolation is nihilism. You know, if you don't use the monk mode to reset yourself, because Glenn, even when you isolate your so-called isolation, I think you're just withdrawing to reset. You need to recharge that gas tank and go. When it comes to friends, you should be absolutely cautious. There's nothing wrong with that. We talked about screening the very first few minutes of the episode. When you're screening friends, are they the guys that are going to talk shit about you in public behind your back? Glenn, you just brought that up. Isn't that the biggest, best way to screen?
Yeah, it's
I
like,
say
you know,
best.
I'll tell you right now, like I watch people and I watch how people talk about people. And if I hear people talking, like if I mean, I could look up to them, I could admire them, I could be friends with them, I could hate them, whatever the case. If I see how you move and I don't like the way you move, if I could say, I don't ever want to be on that side of the business with you. I don't ever let you in that close till you get to me like that. You know what I'm saying? You just have to watch people and watch how they move. And when you do that, it's not like, oh, I was vetting, you know, Nuke when we first got, you know, became friends, you know, and everything's great. So we're cool. And I'm not going to stop vetting him. No, I'm going to stay vetting him. I'm going to keep on. He may get tested daily, you know, without him knowing he's getting tested. I'm just observing. Okay, how does he handle this? Okay, you have to do that because you think that you're going into this like, and your friends sometimes do mean the best for you. And sometimes they actually will just say things to you or say things to someone else to try to get you help. And you may take it offensively and wrong because you didn't know like what was going on, why they were talking about you. But they could have just been talking about you just to try to get you better help or more help. And I understand that. But you have to just constantly stay vetting and just never let your guard all like there. Number 2. Yeah, law number 2. Never put too much trust in friends.
Agree. Absolutely agree. Elena, we love you, but it's a human condition. It's a human condition. We're drawn to the blood sport.
Social conditioning too.
But you know what I like to do? I like to sit in that Paul's little club over there, the beer club, and watch them just talk shit about me. You know, like Paul goes in there and he vents and talks shit about me. He was doing that a lot during like right before the fight. You know, he was going in there and now we're just going there, say a few words and leave.
Perfect segue. Let's talk about, guys, I love this conversation. And when we do the next social one, we can get into more detail. For the last part of the show, next half hour or so, I want to talk about beer club and the Dragons membership. Very similar type of things. And since we're talking about social networking, social game, men needing friends, we've had the unfortunate, or maybe some would say fortunate, recent past that almost all men's clubs have disappeared. They've disappeared. They are no longer men's clubs. They're co-eds, which personally I think co-ed clubs are fine, but men need a space, and they need a space to talk to other men and meet other men on kind of, in a place where only men are, so they don't have to, pretend to be something they're not. Or it's mostly because men position themselves around women very differently than when they position themselves around men. I think that's really important to take that competition, having females out in certain parts of a man's life where he's around men and they're accomplishing tasks together. And I think the beer club is a really great way to talk about those things. And if we can, Paul, let's talk about when you started the beer club, what it's all about. You've got one coming up. I want to talk about, your friendship with Eric and how that's come about, and kind of let everybody know where they can join the beer club. And hopefully they'll join today and come in tomorrow, because I'll be there too, for this pretty amazing webinar. And then we'll move on and talk about the Dragons membership.
Yeah. So I got I stole the idea, stole it. I stole the idea from Vince from Masculine Geek. He invited me to one of his private Masculine Geek meetups. And it was just dudes just sitting around. I mean, they talk about different stuff, they talk about like D&D and gaming and books and whatever, but it was just guys hanging out. And he was saying like, hey, look, we used to have men's communities where we could get together, like the Lions and, the Elks Club or whatever. And you could get together with guys and women weren't allowed, and that was acceptable. And then, the feminist movement started pushing their way into all these men's groups, and when you get women interjecting themselves into men's spaces, it changes the dynamic of what's going on. Like guys start self-filtering themselves. They don't want to offend the women. Some guys are trying to, like Thor was saying before, they, will talk smack about other guys in the group just to make themselves look better, to impress the women. It just ruins the dynamic, and guys can't be themselves. And so after that, I was like, I could probably do that with my community, guys that follow, my podcast and stuff like that. And I'll just call it the Beer Club. And I also read in No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr. Robert Glover, like how important it is for men to connect with other men, just for our mental health, And so I was like, it doesn't have to be like, overly thought out. Like, let's just get guys together, talk about guy shit, right? Let's have a beer. Let's have a beer.
Steel sharpens steel.
Right.
Let's you don't want to introduce a bunch of rust in there.
Exactly.
That's what happens.
Exactly.
As soon as you take a men's space and go co-ed. Now you've got a bunch of rust.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, well, let's not overthink it. One thing that is different between Beer Club and say the Dragons is Thor organizes basically like monthly, almost like webinars every month where guys are teaching each other other things, right? We're not doing any of that in Beer Club for the most part. We are just getting together. We have beers, we talk shit, we swap notes, right? In the Telegram chat, all the guys are in there like with their, dating pictures and, what their text conversations. They're trying to improve and get advice from other dudes that are trying to do the same thing, right? Like we're like-minded guys. So it's just a good outlet for that. And it's only $10 a month, which is pretty nominal. It's pretty nominal. And then that basically just helps support the podcast, but otherwise it gives you access to other dudes. You can get shit off your chest. If you have a problem, bring it to the Beer Club, Yeah. And so like I said, we don't normally do seminars and stuff, but yeah, Eric Everhart reached out to me, and volunteered his services because he just was like, I like what you're doing with these guys. And how I connected with Eric originally was through there's a platform for podcasters to connect with guests, right? Or if you want to be a guest on multiple podcasts, you can sign up for the service too. It's called Matchmaker FM. And I signed up for that maybe a year and a half ago when I first started the podcast, and I wanted to start branching out from the men's group that I started the podcast out of. And I was like, how am I going to get more guests? And I found this site, and I was like, well, I'll get authors and stuff like that from this thing. And Eric happened to be one of those guys. He reached out to me through that platform. And I was like, as a sailor, I was like, I know who that guy is. I've seen training videos featuring that guy. So I was like,
Training videos.
I've seen
How'd you
training videos.
recognize him? You never
Yeah.
see his face.
Right. I don't know. Like, I mean, that's how he led on the platform with just a picture of his dick. No, just kidding. No, but so he reached out to me. He had a book that he had just written called Unleash Your Sexual Superpowers. And he sent me a free PDF of it to study before the show. But I typically like to read people's books before I interview them if I can. And so I went and bought it on Audible and listened to his book. And it was just like, holy shit. Like, the guy's book is brilliant, right?
It really is.
Unleash Your Sexual Superpower. He teaches you how to read a woman's vagina like Braille. You know what I mean? Like, he talks in there about how women can fake orgasms and they're very good at it, right? But they can't fake the arousal of their clit. You know,
Right.
they can't fake that. So he teaches you how to feel for it so you know that you're doing the job right. And he's like, communication's bullshit, right? Communication in the bedroom's bullshit. If she has to tell you what she likes, she's already turned off, you know, because women just like guys that just get it, you know. Like, it's funny, women want us to read their minds. Well, you don't have to read their minds, but you could definitely read their body language and what and certain cues that their bodies are doing. And if you can learn how to do that, you can mesmerize chicks in the bedroom. And guess what, guys? Women will overlook all of your bullshit if you can get their legs shaking in the bedroom. Okay. They'll overlook all your bullshit. They don't care. That's why these chicks are with drug dealers and shit like that. Cause these guys know how to fuck. You know what I mean? So Eric's book teaches you how to do that. And after that interview, we started following each other on social media. And he's just such a down to earth dude. He'll see like I'm posting something about like NLP or whatever. He's a master practitioner in NLP, and he's like, oh, I see that you're reading a book about NLP. Well, let me recommend this video and this. And I'm like, well, thank you, legendary porn star Eric Everhart. I appreciate that. You know, he saw that I was starting an email list once, right? I started an email list through Gumroad, or actually was moving it from MailChimp over to Gumroad. Because actually, just a free advice, guys, if you're just starting out and you want to build an email list, which you should do it on Gumroad. It's just fucking easy. It's free. It's just it's you can't get any simpler than just doing it through Gumroad. And so I was doing it on Gumroad, and he's like, hey, I see you're building an email list. You know, I use this platform. It gives me all these tools and stuff like that. You might consider using that instead. And I'm like, well, thank you, legendary porn star Eric Everhart. I appreciate that. Like, he's just a good dude. He sees what I'm doing. He reaches out, gives me just advice in business, you know, like he doesn't have to. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't have to do that. He just does. And he likes helping other guys that he thinks are doing well to help other men in the space, because that's what he's trying to do, you know. So
yeah, I love the beer club. It's all about living the dream and letting the guys vent and all that stuff. Let me adjust the chat real quick. I got some shield mains in there that got need a little bit of information, you know. Talking about men's spaces. Yes, the DragonShip is a man's panel group. The chat is wide open. And by the way, we love our female members. As far as, you know, we should have space. Definitely. I want to shout out to Megan. But yeah, no, you shouldn't jump off the chat, gals. This is important. And I have something planned this year just for you guys. You know, there's a lot to be learned here, girls, from listening to the men. But there's also a lot that I can learn by engaging with you guys. And I do. Every time I engage with a woman, I learn something. I'm not so much of a closed mind. I learn from you gals all the time about female nature. It's fascinating. And so really, I'm hoping in the middle of the year to add to the DragonShip. It won't be to the DragonShip, but it'll be to RP Thor. And we will start to introduce, Megan's aware of this, shield maidens, RP Thor shield maidens. And we will start doing some one-on-one with some of these gals and chat, especially with the ones that are red pill adjacent and starting to understand intersexual dynamics from a female perspective, because they can't understand some of this from a female perspective. Some of them really understand a little bit about or more than a little bit about male intersexual dynamics. But as they do, I'd like to see what they have to say about our space. So we're going to try to get that in before summer and make that a regular show as well. Hopefully we'll be able to do that live. We'll see. But thanks for your comments, gals. We appreciate that. And for the members that joined, appreciate that too. My membership's down to 99 cents. If you guys want to join, you can get some special stuff there. Let's talk about the Dragons membership. Guys, everybody on this panel is a member of the Dragons membership. I started the Dragons membership a while back. And yes, the guys are now posting their affiliate for the Dragonship. And why they do that is because the Dragons membership is open to men, and the men can encourage other members to join, and they're rewarded for doing so. This helps grow the membership, and every man that comes on has the opportunity once a month to have a 2-hour meeting, and they can present any material they want to educate the other men. Part of the Dragons is to help each other. It's not an entertainment podcast. It's not anything like that where it's a private membership. It is a private membership, but the purpose is to educate. We have webinars from many RP experts, guys that you would recognize in this space. Some of it is quite private, has to be behind a paywall because we could never publish it on YouTube. We get to express our opinions. It's a large network, and I can say this. We have every type of individual there. Guys in government, Navy SEALs. We have doctors. We've had lawyers, international businessmen that come in to hear different topics and any topics on board. I'll show you some of the webinars titles that I did that I'm going to talk about this coming Tuesday. Now, why am I mentioning the Dragons membership this coming Tuesday? Because in the chat, I'm posting right now the link to the Zoom. Now, I'm opening up the Zoom for next Tuesday. I do this once a year for free. You guys can come and you can check out an episode. This episode, I'm going to go over some of the past webinars that we've done, some of the future ones we've proposed, and we're going to have a Q&A for anybody that wants to come on the Zoom. Girls, you can show up, but you won't get your questions answered. You can listen, but you're welcome to come and listen because we know we will be on YouTube, so it will be screened for the YouTube audience. But we're going to go ahead
like
and
church, right, Thor? It's like church, where it says in Corinthians, women are supposed, or 2 Timothy, women are supposed to be silent and not speak. It's just like church.
You could say that, but the reason isn't to they can listen, but the reason is we serve the guys that join it, not the girls that are listening to it. So that's kind of the purpose. And if you're okay with that, that's fine. I have other options for the women that want to improve themselves. Definitely have options there. And that would be more focused on them. Now, I want to talk to you guys. So the link is in the chats right now, the live chat. I'll go back in and I'll post the chat, the invite. Now, this is an invite where you have to register. So when you register, we're going to get your email. This keeps the spurgs and the haters out because they got to give away their information. Now, they'll still be able to get in, but I have moderators. It's not that bad. So I want to go ahead and just go ahead and show you a couple of things we're going to show come next Tuesday. Let's see if I can share this screen. We're going to go ahead and do window. We'll do, let's just do, I wonder if I can do the entire screen. Oh, I can't do the second screen. Okay. So let's do it one at a time. Okay, guys. Some of the stuff we present in this case would be understanding testosterone fitness. This is pretty comprehensive. This is a 3-hour meeting that we had where I've taken all my research and I shared this with all the men's that are interested in this sort of stuff and the resources to get access to this in the Dragons membership. So that's one of the webinars that you would have access to in the archive through the Telegram if you were to join the Dragons membership. So let's see if we can get another one in here. Share screen. Just to give you an idea. Share screen. Contents a window. Here you go. There's another one. We also have one that's another 3-hour one, which is Principles of Long-Term Relationship Success. And this is pretty comprehensive, guys. It goes through quite a bit of information that men can do and techniques, things that you can demonstrate in your life. And there's a lot that goes into this. Definitely that would help you in long-term relationship. This is coming from a place of a lot of experience too. So definitely that's one of our other presentations that's available. We have some others that are a little more salacious if you're interested in things like that. We definitely have a webinar that Sterling Cooper gave on, escalating sexuality. We have another one that I did, which is, let's see here. Oh, I've done some others on becoming durable, which is habits. And probably the most popular one that I've done is related to the book. And I'll be talking more about this next Tuesday with some of the stuff that's in the book and talk to the guys that are in the Dragons with Q&As they have. So this would be this one, which is developing dread game skills. Well, that's not exactly the one I wanted to show. I wanted to show a dominant masculine presence. But for some reason, I can't get there because StreamYard is being silly with me on my share. So there you go. So I want to open this up to you guys to talk about a little bit. What's your experience, and particularly AJ? I want to hear AJ's experience with the Dragons membership monthly. Now, as a Zoom meeting, it lasts a couple hours, and you get to participate. You get a private Telegram, and I actually post the meeting about a week later in the Telegram as a private invite-only link so that you can replay the information that was given. So why don't you give us your take on it, AJ, and then we'll have the rest of the guys jump in. I know you have an interesting way that you learned about it. It also describes how we get some of our Dragons members that actually present this information and what benefits you've seen from it. And if you have your affiliate link, go ahead and post it.
All right, let me repost that affiliate link real fast. There's my affiliate link.
And that's where you join the DragonShip. You can quit at any time, gentlemen.
Yeah. So I found out about the DragonShip through actually John Modern Life Dating, because Thor does a lot of these presentations that he showed right there in the Masculine Empowerment Network. And he did a last year when he did his freebie with Glenn Laurence was actually the one that was doing the presentation in there. And Glenn's story resonated with me so much that I actually contacted Glenn and then signed up for the DragonShip. And if it wasn't for Thor and Glenn, I actually probably wouldn't be doing my own content creation. And then you got met Paul through that as well. And Paul's actually been instrumental in me starting to level up my presentation. So that's the thing I do like about the DragonShip membership, is that it's given me the inspiration to start doing my own stuff as well, as far as content creation, as well as continuing on my own leveling up. And I think another benefit of it is if I need to, I can reach out to Thor for something, or Glenn or Paul, and ask them some things in confidence. Like, hey, should I be doing this? Or what do you think about this? So that's where the DragonShip, I think, is instrumental, even beyond the Masculine Empowerment Network.
Well, I appreciate that. Now, you just came off of giving one heck of a presentation with your skills, and a lot of guys had a lot of questions. Your skills was in detailing as a professional detailer on some of the equipment, the chemicals to use, and you actually got quite a bit of questions about how to do certain things, which I thought was really informational.
Yeah, that one was a good one. That's actually what led me to make my latest video, is because Elliot Raduku, he had some questions. He lives in the UK. It's got crap weather like the Pacific Northwest. So my latest video that I'll put the link in here was spray on car washes. So guys who live in cold weather or shitty weather, or if you live in California and you have water restrictions, this is an option for you guys to use, is spray on car washes or waterless car washes.
Yeah, so that was a really good one. Glenn's was heartfelt, and I hate to use that term, but it was his presentation that got you interested. He went through some experiences. I know it touched your heart. I don't know who else was there, but I was very proud of Glenn to do his presentation last year on the free show. So, Glenn, you got anything you want to add about the Dragons?
Good.
Look, if I'm going to talk about the last time I did the free one, I was the free version. They
I
got to
know.
pay for this next one, okay? Like, you know,
Yeah.
I did my due diligence. No, you know, what I appreciate about the dragons is that you like literally there's somebody from all walks of life in there. Like I have talked to millionaires, like, and they have reached out wanting to talk to me about things, and I'm like, what the hell kind of advice can I give a millionaire? Like, hey, here's some advice. Give me a couple million so I could be one like you, you know, like. But it's like no, like these guys they see value in everybody. Like everybody comes in there, you have something to offer, and the reason why you know you have something to offer because Thor's gonna make you prove that you have something to offer. Like everybody, like not he didn't force everybody to have to share or you know to host, but he gives you the opportunity and he motivates you to do so. And if you rise and step up to the occasion, now we know as a group what you have to offer. And it could be something that you're interested in, or it could be work related. It could be a passion, a hobby, it could be your story. But whatever what it is that we're getting to know you and what you have to offer. So now we know who to go to. It's like you're building a community. Like, so I talked to Laurent about like finance. And he did this whole like psychological like survey with me on how you think about finances. And it was so eye-opening. He spent like an hour and a half with me doing this, you know, and it's like not having somebody like to connect to like that, to take the time to kind of break things down for you in a way that you don't know because you've never been taught it this way. That's mind-blowing. You can't put a price tag on something like that.
You had a guy worth millions and millions of dollars spend an hour and a half with you at no charge.
Yeah, no, and he had to harass me to get me to do it. That's the other thing. It wasn't like I just like dropped at the drop of the hat. And I was like, oh man, I gotta do something right now. Like he had to chase me around like the child support agency trying to collect a check, you know.
And I gotta tell you, I've learned so much from the Dragons members themselves. I mean, Paul gave an amazing presentation on law of attraction that was very valuable because he actually offered the techniques. What was your experience like has been so far on the Dragons, Paul?
It's fascinating. I like showing up. I haven't been to a bunch of them. I'm usually pretty fucking busy with this podcast thing, but I've showed up to a couple of them, and I just like how everyone does share their value, right? They know something. AJ, for instance, the last one I went to did a whole presentation on how to detail your car. You know, like I don't know how to do all that shit. I don't know. He was saying he was very adamant about not using Armor All. I was like, I always thought you were supposed to use Armor All. Apparently you're not. I didn't know that until I went to that thing. So yeah,
throw that shit in the trash.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you to do a video on how to detail a motorcycle, you ass hat.
It's coming.
That's my next one. That one I actually want to do when I get watching and filming, when I do my voiceover, it's going to be about actually Brotherhood and Tribes. That's my plan with that one.
Right. And we're going to get some new ones coming up. I got some new presentations here. We're going to delve much deeper into developing a dominant masculine presence for yourself so you can take that into many parts of your life so that you'll have more fulfillment as a man. Nuke is coming on board. He is a Dragons member as well. So is Mike. I'm hoping to get these guys on a topic they're passionate about to give their half-hour 45-minute lecture and Q&A. We will be doing a Q&A on Tuesday, which should be interesting, and everything's on the table, by the way, you know, as long as we don't get YouTube violations, but everything's on the table. Get your questions answered, and I appreciate you guys for being members of the Dragon. You guys are both affiliates. Everybody's affiliate here. Post your affiliate in the chat and in your own channels. If you go to your descriptions, post your affiliates, and that's a way to join. Guys, there's no limitation. If you join it, you can quit at any time. And it's even better because nearly all of my video lectures are available there in the archive. Instead of having to buy them individually, you could join for a month. I know I'm narking on myself. You could join for a month, watch all 9 of them, and then you could bounce out. Or you could purchase them individually for double the money. But I think if you go in there, you take a look and at least participate in one of the meetings, you're going to want to stick with it because the network's too valuable. We talked about Brotherhood today. I mean, the Dragons is a big deal, you know. I mean, it's a big deal You know, we respect it and we take care of each other. So I'm hoping that I'll get you guys to take a look at it anyway, whoever's watching this. And I appreciate taking the time today, guys, to go ahead and do that. We'll have that free one for you available. I'll post the link one more time here to the Zoom, which you can use. And that should just about do it. We're going to simulcast to YouTube as well. So that'll be interesting. I'll test that out later today. So, guys,
shouldn't there a super chat here, Thor? May I take it?
yes, please do. You don't have control. Let me get over there. Oh,
Danny?
okay. Go for it.
I'm listening in while driving currently. I just wanted to throw in a little something for the cookie jar. Men's spaces and fellowshipping with brothers is so important. Absolutely. Skull.
We'll follow it up with our famous.
I might get Mike to read my next book. Shit, that was...
Mike's pretty good.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. You know, I want to do some shout outs too. I need to shout out some guys, Christianity Unplugged. Remember, this channel, every single video we post immediately gets limited or demonetized. I have to peel every single one. In about 7 days, they come back and say, oh, everything's perfectly fine. So if you don't think that shadow banning isn't real, check out Praveen Mohan's video I posted earlier. He has all the information on it. It's pretty darn amazing. But shout out to Elena's Bar Fitness, Megan Silenate, dear friend of mine, and Wade Emery. I see you too. Definitely. I mean, this is my dear friend group for sure. So, and it's not just men, but men are different friends than women. If there is a difference, and I appreciate that difference. You want to know about that difference? Come hit us up on the Dragons. We'll explain it in detail. Danny Arnold, man, what a great supporter, one of the channel members. And then I'm just going to say, hey, Mike Mulvaney, thank you for jumping in. Jack Napier, I think he jumped in on Glenn's channel or Nuke's channel. Shoot, if I would have saw it earlier, would have offered him the invite, of course. I think he's one of your team members there, Glenn. So that would be really good. So, guys, I appreciate everybody. Fastback GT, Barbarian, excellent comments today. Supernatural Fart Spreader. You got to drop a super chat because you make some really good chats, and I like to put them up there. So we appreciate you too. And Bucket on Head, fantastic chat today. I couldn't wish for more. Thank you. So, guys, let's do a quick roundtable on Brotherhood, isolation, the memberships, and what you're up to. And let's get started with AJ. AJ, we're going to go full screen with you.
Ready. So as far as like roundtable brotherhoods, I'd say your friendship group, you should bet as much as any girl that you bring into your life, because they are the whole saying, you are the average of the 5 people you hang around the most. Other than that, what I'm up to is waking up early on this Saturday because I actually got work tonight. I plan on doing my longest live stream. I have a feeling this one's going to go like 2 hours next Sunday. Not tomorrow, 1 week from tomorrow, on Paul Bauer's book that I got right here. Awesome book. Paul's inspiring me to step up my game, so did the whole entire notes as I was reading the book. Chapter 7.
Need more jazz hands. More jazz hands.
Chapter 7 is going to be probably an hour by itself, just because I have my own disagreements and agreements with Paul's stuff, so I'm going to be sharing that in the review as well.
Ooh, that's gonna be fun.
It's nothing bad, Paul. Nothing bad. It's
whatever. No, it's
different
cool.
philosophies, man. Different philosophies.
I'm a firm believer of having friends that don't necessarily agree with you. You know,
Yeah,
exactly. It helps challenge your beliefs too. You know.
Yeah, and that's like why in that friend circle that I kind of exited from, I still stay in contact with one of them because we actually do bounce a lot of stuff off each other still. He might be still a little bit behind as far as leveling up, but he's willing to sit there and have an objective mind and not be subjective about the RP space. Like, he was actually supporting me through the whole entire breakup and starting to go on my RP journey and eventually start content creating. After I do that one with Paul, I do need to film washing the bike, and I will start opening up to once weekly with Cars and Creatine. Other than that, got nothing. Thank you, Thor.
Thanks, AJ. Appreciate you a bunch. Mr. Mike Steele, who's going to be starting to read all of our super chats, I guess, after that last one. The chat went wild. Here you go.
Well, then I guess I'll take this last one here from Danny Arnold, since I don't have a whole lot going on in Vegas right now. He says, I want Mike Steele to read my super chats while I'm walking away from an explosion in slow motion.
Mike, you got one of those voices. Well, I can imagine on the old theatrical trailers that says, in a world in which.
Yeah, the movie announcer guy. Yeah.
In a world in which
I love it.
men are constantly under threat, one man seeks to restore order. His name is R.P. Thor.
Mr. Movie Phone.
There you go. Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you for having
Anything
me.
else from you?
No, thank you for the invite, sir. I
Excellent,
appreciate it as always.
Mr. Glenn Laurence, my master at arms. You've been on a tear lately. Are you muted?
Glenn, you're muted.
My
He
brother.
doesn't need words.
I'm speechless. Speechless. I will be streaming tomorrow. I'm going to be doing some pre-records later on the night. I'll be releasing some other stuff that I got going on. Me and Nick, or Christianity Unplugged, and I've been working with him a lot lately. And we've been dropping some gems out there for those that want to be, that enjoy Christianity and believe in God, and also want to be red pilled. We've been dropping some serious gems in these videos. So I definitely encourage you guys that to inquire those, even if you don't believe in God and you just want to just know more about Bible stuff and why people like the Bible. Well, then there you go, check that out too. Ladies, I mean, if you are a TradCon, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to wake you up. I'm here for you, okay, ladies. I'm here for you. Like, I don't do this for my benefit. I do it for yours. I'm trying to help y'all out, and by calling out all your BS and all your nonsense. And there's still time for redemption. So, just don't get all mad. Just listen to what I got to say and then go do the dishes. All right. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your participation. Nuke, another Drakkar.
All I got to say is hang out with your friends. There's a lot of distractions and things that will keep you isolated. There's plenty of Netflix shows and video games and sedations that'll keep you away from other good people. There's time for everything, and make sure that you prioritize hanging out with good guys, good men. Realize that there's a lot of shitty people, but there's a lot of good people too. Don't lose hope, and you'll be surprised about who's really pulls through to be your friend. Sometimes it's not who you think. Excuse me. So yeah, hang out with your friends and realize that they're the ones that are going to pull you out of your flawed thinking and kind of like they serve as a mirror to yourself, because they're the ones that can see you objectively, and they do it because they care about you. So very important to have a group of guys that you can trust and all that stuff. It really is worth the effort to put in to get in with guys like that. So
Thanks, Nuke. Sure, I was glad to have you on board. Paul.
Yeah, if you guys take anything away from this, it's when you guys find a group of guy friends, make sure that these guy friends have a growth mindset and that they have a positive mindset, that they're not trying to hold you back and hold you down and keep you where you are. You want to be with guys that are also on the path of leveling up too, because you guys will make each other better men in general, I think. Join the beer club, guys. Like I said, tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time, Eric Everhardt's giving a lecture. The guy's an absolute genius. And tune into the podcast Monday. My guest is the legendary George Bruno. You guys finally get to understand why stirring your coffee with chopsticks and the vortex technique changes the flavor of coffee at the molecular level. Okay. We get to the bottom of that. And then, guys, finally, get the book. Get the book. The Audible version is available, narrated by R.P. Thor. Okay. But it's gotten nothing but 5-star reviews on Amazon. People are really enjoying it, except for maybe AJ doesn't like the 7th chapter, but that's his problem. Okay.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I just said I have some difference in philosophy. I enjoyed the book.
Wow. Right here is where it hurts. Right here.
Hey, remember, I was on Team Glenn to begin with.
Ah, fantastic. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate you. All righty, guys. So what can you do? You know, there's a reason that I put the friends up here. There's a reason that I wanted to do a show on brotherhood and isolation. Now I'm going to be serious here for a minute, because those of you that stuck through this entire podcast, next week's is going to be kind of serious, but it's going to be super important because there's a positive message. And I say this because of my years of experience. 2024 is the year of fear. You can see it already on social media and nearly every aspect of your life. Fear is going to hit all-time highs. Everywhere you go, the world is coming apart. The world is going to an end. We better do this. We better do that. Elect this, elect that. Oh my God. This bleeds through the entire spirit of our social networks and can affect how we treat our friends, our brotherhood, and the pillars that we build socially. This is the bulwark against the fear. And the reason I say it's the year of fear is because it's going to be true. Open your eyes and look. I'm going to give you some positive reasons where you can regulate your emotions when it comes to fear, so that 2024 can be your year. You don't have to worry about this extraneous bullshit that's going to bombard you. Are some of these things serious? Oh, hell yeah, they're serious. But do you have to let it destroy your life and consume your emotions and thoughts? Not at all. You can thrive in this environment. Many will. And there's lots of opportunities to be had as well. So that's another reason you should join the Dragons membership, is to get those fantastic, positive tips, tricks, behaviors, and traits to deal with a very fearful and scary environment, which you don't have to, you know, if you choose not to, because it's all about your actions and what you choose to think. So with that, guys, definitely go and buy the books. I enjoyed reading both of them. There's a lot of good information in there. I'm going to take you guys out today. Until next time, Skull.
If you haven't already, join Thor's The Dragons membership. It's a men's monthly interactive meeting in cyberspace. This is a masculine place for men that is censorship free, to help you increase your performance, converse, as well as leverage ideas, and get coaching consultations on how to handle life's issues in a modern world. This is a unique place. This is a discreet place, and it's a place for men. So what are you waiting for? Join the Dragons membership today